Welcome to Miss Scarlett, the place to be feminine. Subscribe and enjoy. Abraham traced his fingertips along the delicate lace of the dress he wore, a soft, pink creation that fell just above his knees. The skirt flared out slightly, accentuating his now defined waist, a result of the form-fitting corset he had struggled into only moments ago. Long blonde waves, thanks to a well-placed wig, framed his face, emphasizing the subtle makeup he had carefully applied. A light dusting of blush, a swipe of mascara, and a hint of lipstick in a matching pink shade. He turned to the side, taking in his transformed profile. "Abriana," he whispered, testing out the name. It felt strange on his tongue, but he knew it suited his new appearance. With a small smile, he straightened his posture, already adjusting to the constricting nature of the corset, and struck a playful pose, one hand on his hip, the other touching his flowing wig. Just then, there was a loud knock on his bedroom door, followed by his mother's concerned voice. "Abraham, honey, are you okay in there? Your friend said you were acting weird today." Abraham's smile faltered as he quickly turned away from the mirror, his heart racing. He had expected this moment, but that didn't make it any less nerve-wracking. Taking a deep breath, he called out, his voice a little unsteady. "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. Just, trying something new for a school project." A pause, then the cautious reply. "A school project?" "Yeah," he replied, infusing his voice with more enthusiasm. "It's for drama class. We're doing a unit on Shakespeare, and I volunteered to dress up as a character for extra credit. It's Shakespearean times, Mom." Another knock, followed by the gentle creak of the door opening. "Honey, are you sure you're okay? This seems a bit—" She trailed off as she caught sight of her son's getup. Abraham held his breath, waiting for her reaction, then finally exhaled as she continued, a soft chuckle in her voice. "Oh, Abraham, you certainly committed to this, didn't you? Even went all out with the wig and everything. Well, you look—" She paused, searching for the right word. "Quite convincing, actually. A real lady." Abraham allowed himself a small smile, feeling a surge of relief. "Thanks, Mom. I wanted to really get into character." He turned back to the mirror, struck by an idea. "Hey, can you help me with this lacing? It's tough to do alone." His mother stepped into the room, her eyes sweeping over the transformation. "Of course, honey. Let me just get a better look at this." She frowned slightly as she examined the intricate lacing of the corset. "My, that's quite a complex getup. It's a wonder you managed it at all." She reached for the laces, expertly adjusting and tightening them. Abraham winced as his waist was pulled in even further, but he held back any sign of discomfort, not wanting to ruin the illusion. "It's all part of the challenge, right?" "I suppose so," she mused, her fingers working swiftly. "But honey, are you sure this is really for a school project? Seems like an awful lot of effort." He forced a laugh, turning to face her with a playful roll of his eyes. "Oh, Mom, you know me. When I commit, I go all out. Besides, it's fun to try something new, you know?" She smiled, giving a small nod. "I suppose I do know a thing or two about your dedication when you set your mind to something. Well, you certainly look the part, Abriana." She emphasized the name, testing it out, a smile playing at her lips. The use of the name startled Abraham, and he felt a small flutter in his chest. "Yeah, Abriana," he repeated softly, getting used to the sound of it. "It suits the character, don't you think?" "Oh, absolutely," his mother agreed, stepping back to admire her handiwork. "Though I must admit it's a bit startling to see my son looking more like my long-lost daughter." "Sorry, Mom," Abraham said, a hint of apology in his tone. "Didn't mean to give you a scare." She waved away his apology. "Oh, don't be sorry, honey. It's just, well, it's been a while since I've had a daughterly presence around here. Your sister's been off at college, as you know." A hint of melancholy tinged her voice, but it quickly vanished as she shook her head, letting out a light laugh. "But enough of my rambling. I think you've really outdone yourself with this one, Abraham. Or should I say, Abriana." Abraham felt a warm glow at his mother's praise. "Thanks, Mom. That means a lot, especially coming from someone who knows a thing or two about Shakespeare." He gestured to a stack of books on his desk, a few of them well-worn copies of the playwright's works. She smiled, her eyes lighting up at the mention of her favorite author. "Well, I am quite the Shakespeare enthusiast, aren't I? And I must say, your commitment to the character is impressive. If you need any help with your project, you know where to find me." "Will do, Mom. Thanks for your help with the corset." Abraham gave a small wave, turning back to the mirror to adjust his wig, tucking a few stray strands behind his ear. "Anytime, honey," she replied, pausing at the door. "And Abraham, or Abriana, I suppose, have fun with it, okay? Shakespeare is meant to be enjoyable." "I will, Mom," he called out, already reaching for a tube of lipstick to experiment with a bolder shade. "Don't worry, I'll make you proud." With a soft smile, she closed the door, leaving Abraham alone with his reflection once more. He stood there, silently watching as Abriana, no, he corrected himself, as she applied a deep red lipstick, the vibrant shade standing out against the soft pink of the dress. A soft knock startled them, and Abraham quickly wiped the lipstick from their lips, not yet ready to reveal this bolder choice to anyone else. "Yeah?" The door cracked open, and his father poked his head in. "Hey, kid, your mom said you were up here. Everything all right?" Abraham's heart skipped a beat as they quickly turned to face their dad, a forced casualness in their tone. "Yeah, everything's fine. Just getting into character for a school project." His father's brow furrowed as he took in the sight before him. The dress, the wig, the makeup. "Wow, quite a project. You certainly look different." Abraham felt their face flush, and they knew the color contrast with the pale foundation would be evident. "Yeah, well, that's the idea, I guess." A beat of silence. Then his father cleared his throat. "Your mom filled me in. Quite the Shakespearean getup, huh? So, who are you supposed to be?" "Oh!" Abraham exclaimed, relieved to shift the focus. They launched into an explanation, gesturing animatedly as they described the character they had chosen. A noblewoman from one of Shakespeare's histories. A strong and cunning lady with a penchant for manipulation. They elaborated on the character's backstory, their motives, and the role they played in the plot, their voice rising with enthusiasm as they got caught up in the story. His father listened, a small smile growing as Abraham spoke. "Well, I'll be darned. You really did your research, didn't you? Your mom's influence, I suppose." Abraham smiled back, a sense of pride washing over them. "Something like that, yeah." "Impressive." His father nodded, his eyes narrowing as he studied the makeup. "I have to say, the transformation is quite something. I hardly recognized you." His voice trailed off, a faraway look in his eyes as if he were remembering something. Abraham held their breath, waiting for their father to continue. With a shake of his head, their dad snapped back to the present. "Well, anyway, I just wanted to pop in and make sure everything was okay. Your mom was a little concerned." "Tell her not to worry," Abraham replied, a wave of affection washing over them. "I've got this under control." "All right, kid," his father said, turning to leave. "If you need anything, you know where to find us." "Thanks, Dad," Abraham called out as the door closed. They let out a small sigh, a mix of relief and satisfaction. They turned back to the mirror, regarding their reflection with newfound appreciation. A burst of confidence filled them, and they struck a regal pose, channeling the noblewoman they were portraying. Just then, their phone buzzed with a new message. With a curious smile, they sat down on the edge of the bed and unlocked the screen, revealing a text from their best friend, Justin. "Dude, where are you? Everyone's at the mall, asking about your weirdness today. We're at the food court." Abraham's eyebrows furrowed. Weirdness? Oh, right, he thought, his unusual behavior at school that morning. He quickly typed out a reply. "Sorry, had to get this project done. Be there in 10. You'll see." He slipped the phone into his pocket, or, rather, Abriana's pocket, a small purse that hung off the wrist, and made their way out of the bedroom, pausing only to grab a light jacket. As they descended the stairs, they called out to their parents, "I'm heading out to meet some friends. Back soon." "Be safe," their mother called back, her voice carrying a playful warning. "And remember, Abriana, stay in character." A warm feeling washed over Abraham as he heard his new name on his mother's lips. With a small wave, he stepped out the front door, feeling the warm summer breeze play with the wig's blonde waves. Sliding into the driver's seat of his car, he took a moment to adjust the skirt, ensuring it fell gracefully over his legs, and checked his reflection in the rearview mirror. A confident smile spread across his face as he backed out of the driveway and hit the road, eager to show off his transformation to his friends. The mall was bustling as Abraham made his way inside, the food court a sea of familiar faces, and the familiar aroma of fast food. He spotted Justin immediately, his tall frame and bright red hair making him easy to pick out in a crowd. Their eyes widened as they took in Abraham's appearance, a look of confusion mixed with awe spreading across their face. "Dude," Justin whispered, his eyes scanning the dress and wig. "What the—" Abraham cut him off with a playful wink. "Like it? It's for a school project." Justin's eyes widened further. "A school project? You really commit, don't you?" Abraham felt a surge of pride at their friend's reaction. "Oh, you know it. Extra credit and all that." A group of their mutual friends had gathered around, their faces mirroring Justin's confused expression. "Dude, that's dedication," one of them, Ryan, remarked, shaking his head. "You really know how to make an entrance." Abraham smiled, striking a playful pose. "Well, when I do something, I go all out. Besides," they added, lowering their voice to a conspiratorial tone, "it's kind of fun, you know." The group exchanged glances, some looking intrigued, others slightly bewildered. Justin, ever the supportive friend, spoke up. "Hey, if anyone can pull this off, it's you, man. So, what's the project about?" With a flourish, Abraham launched into an animated description of the project, their gestures growing grander as they explained the character they were portraying and the scene they would be acting out for class. They elaborated on the challenges of donning a costume and adopting a new persona, their voice rising with enthusiasm as they got caught up in the story. The group listened, some with open mouths, others nodding along, clearly impressed by Abraham's dedication and creativity. As they wrapped up their explanation, a round of applause and cheerful whistles filled the air, along with a few catcalls and whoops of appreciation. Abraham's face lit up with a beaming smile as they took in the positive reaction. "Thanks, guys. It means a lot, especially since this was a bit out of my comfort zone." Justin clapped a hand on Abraham's shoulder, a grin spreading across his face. "Dude, you absolutely crushed it. I can't wait to see the look on your teacher's face when you walk into class like this." Abraham's smile widened at the thought. "Oh, it's going to be epic. I can already picture Mrs. Miller's expression." Laughter filled the food court, mingling with the bustling sounds of the mall. The group fell into an easy banter, with Abraham fielding questions about the project, the character, and the process of putting together the entire ensemble, they regaled their friends with tales of their experimental makeup attempts, the struggle of finding the right wig, and the challenge of walking in heels, all of which had their audience roaring with laughter. As the laughter died down, Justin's expression turned curious. "So, how does it feel, dressing up like this?" Abraham paused, considering the question. They ran a hand over the soft fabric of the skirt, the sensation of the lace and satin under their fingertips. "It feels liberating, in a way. Almost like I'm stepping into someone else's skin and getting to experience a whole new side of myself." The group nodded along, some looking thoughtful, others intrigued. Ryan, a mischievous glint in his eye, spoke up. "So, does this mean you're going to keep dressing like this even after the project?" Abraham's eyes widened at the question, their mind spinning as they considered the possibility. They paused, taking a moment to reflect, then shook their head with a playful smile. "Maybe. We'll see. For now, I'm just focused on nailing this performance." More laughter and playful nudging filled the air as the group continued to rib Abraham about their transformation, clearly enjoying the unusual sight of their friend in a dress and wig. The conversation turned to other topics, with the usual mall antics and stories of summer jobs and vacation plans taking center stage. As the afternoon wore on, Abraham bid their friends farewell, promising to fill them in on the teacher's reaction to their costume. With a spring in their step, they made their way back to the car, a sense of satisfaction washing over them. Sliding into the driver's seat, they took a moment to readjust the skirt and smooth out the wig, a ritual they were quickly getting used to. The drive home was uneventful, the summer sun guiding Abraham back to the familiar streets of their neighborhood. As they pulled into the driveway, they spotted their mother in the front yard, tending to her beloved rose garden. With a smile, they got out of the car, careful to maintain their poise and grace, and made their way over to where she kneeled, pruning shears in hand. "Hello, Abriana," she called out, a smile lighting up her face as she caught sight of Abraham. "Back already? I thought you'd be off gallivanting with your friends." Abraham smiled, a warm glow spreading through them at the sound of their new name on their mother's lips. "I was, but I wanted to show off my handiwork. What do you think?" They struck a playful pose, the skirt flaring out around them. Their mother set down her shears and rose, her eyes sparkling with delight. "Why, Abriana, you look simply ravishing! That dress suits you perfectly, and your makeup!" She trailed off, a look of admiration on her face. "I must say, I'm quite impressed with your attention to detail." Abraham felt their hearts swell with pride at their mother's praise. "Thanks, Mom. Coming from you, that means a lot. You're the Shakespeare expert, after all." She waved away the compliment with a dismissive gesture. "Oh, nonsense. I merely dabble, but I do appreciate the effort you've put into this project. It's clear you've really thrown yourself into it." She paused, her eyes narrowing playfully. "Though I must admit, I'm enjoying having a daughter around, even if it's just an act." Abraham felt a twinkle in their eye as they replied, "Well, you know me, Mom. I always aim to please." Her laughter rang out, warm and cheerful. "That you do, my dear. That you do." She reached out to adjust a stray lock of the wig, her touch gentle and loving. "Now, tell me more about this character of yours. I want to hear all about the cunning noblewoman you're portraying." With a flourish, Abraham launched into the story, their gestures animated as they described the intricate plot of the play and the pivotal role their character played. They elaborated on the motivations and intrigues, their voice rising with excitement as they got swept up in the drama of it all. Their mother listened, her eyes sparkling with delight, as Abraham brought the story to life, their transformed appearance adding an extra layer of intrigue to the tale. As Abraham wrapped up the story, their mother clasped her hands together, a look of satisfaction on her face. "Bravo, Abriana! Simply bravo! I can't wait to see your performance. I have a feeling you're going to captivate the entire class,